Welcome into the Boardroom podcast. I'm Ward 6 Alderman Ben Piper.
Ward 4 Alderman Chad Wicker. How you doing, Ben?
Doing great. It is a Thanksgiving loaded episode of the Boardroom podcast. We're going to be talking some city business. We're going to be talking football, what the plan is for Thanksgiving, all this stuff. It's the day before Thanksgiving. As we're recording here, you may be listening to us after Thanksgiving has occurred, and if so, hopefully you've had a blessed time with your family.
My wife and I, Shelby, try to.
There you go.
Friend.
He never stops, folks. He never stops. He is here for you, our loyal podcast listeners. We appreciate all of you. So it is Thanksgiving week. So people have some time off work. Probably thinking about football a little bit. You know, there's always an NFL game on. There's the Egg Bowl going on Thanksgiving night, and then a bunch of college football games going on over the weekend. But we will have a HYFA President Harley Brown. We'll have HYFA President Harley Brown on later.
Volunteer.
He's a Superman volunteer. Harley Brown join us with free. It's free. He puts a lot into it. We know. So any of you parents out there that are involved with HYFA or thinking about getting your kid involved with HYFA, you're going to want to stay tuned for his interview with us later on.
And Youth Football Association. 1 years old. I didn't realize it was that old. My son played.
Mm-hmm.
Organization or social. He did mention to me in the parking lot.
Okay, all right. Well, that's some breaking news for you there. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Very healthy organization. Number of participants continues to grow each year. Record number. We'll chat with him here later on and have him as our guest interview this week. But let's hop into some city business. We had a
quick meeting, but 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes. Yesterday, the second regular called meeting of the Board of Aldermen in the month of November. Chad, what do you think? We've got first off, thanks to Walmart. Big thanks to Walmart. Got a couple Christmas trees, one going to the police department, one going to the fire department.
I think I saw a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Okay.
They may be.
Got a couple Christmas tree donations that we accepted. Certainly appreciate.
Hey, one thing I'm excited about on the percentage, we didn't really talk about. Jared had purchased or actually lease of a robotic field line. No more crooked lines in baseball, soccer.
Yes,
the robot.
It's going to save a ton of time more than anything else. You won't have somebody committed to having to necessarily be out there marking lines, having to remark them, whatever else. The amount of paint I think that you use is probably going to decrease marginally, so that would be a little bit of a savings as well, but mainly just the labor hours, the man hours. And
I remember years ago when I worked out some headline. That's not even.
It definitely is probably a little more complicated than people realize. Oh yeah. It will definitely be, especially for I feel like in baseball, right? Fair or foul, it could cause the outcome of the game. Soccer, out, ball went out, restart it, whatever. Baseball, man, line's got to be great. So that's a good thing.
Like we're playing coach, the little circle there.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was gonna bring that up at one point, but jumped right in there, man. You're on top of it. We also had let's
talk about the soccer.
I was going to talk about Yep. Yes, thank you. That was the next thing I was going to head to. There is we did award a contract, the request for quote for a energy services program, or an ESCO, lighting contract with Path Infrastructure Solutions. So Path has a lot of different kind of energy services. They do lighting, HVAC, water. Uh, they look at all different kind of infrastructure solutions. But, they did a lot of legwork with this RFQ with soccer lighting out there that needs to be done. Needs conduit run for another pad to be lit out there. Currently, we only have really about a third of the soccer complex lit. And this upcoming spring season, if you've ever played spring soccer, what happens is that you practice a game February and early March before the time change. It's really dark out there. And additionally, we want to add some parking lot lighting part of this RFP as well. So I had a few companies that bid on it, and they were the one that kind of that had done a lot of the legwork, I guess, to know what needs to be done out there. Had had experience with Senatobia as well, doing some of their lighting down there. So they were the ones that supported that too. It should be around probably $650,000 to $700,000. That's a rough estimate to get this work done, to get parking lot lighting done, and also get another pad lit out the soccer field. Long time needed, but it is coming. Folks.
We're paying for best. March long.
And that was something that we touched on later on in the meeting. Is advertising for a request for quote for for design and construction services for the recreation improvements that we just talked about with baseball, softball, Renaissance Park area, getting that a little more fleshed out.
Yeah, mayor, we have committee discuss how we're. I know I have education. Want out.
Speaking of bathroom facilities, we are looking at kind of redesigning the bathroom at Kirkendall Park. That was one of we got bids back that were much larger than what we budgeted for. I think we budgeted about 100,000, and I think the
Mayor said
bids came back.
I think and essentially, I think what's decided. That's I guess too.
Hopefully, that's something that can get done. I know there's people that go out there to walk, to exercise. HYFA uses it for practices. It definitely needs to be something
I
looked
think
at.
it's going to tore down.
It's I think the Public Works Department is gonna demo that thing for, for just maybe labor cost and then maybe $2,000 to rent a dumpster to get it taken care of. So that'll be taken. So that's most of the parks and recreation related things that were on this thing. Let's go to public safety really quick. Soto County School System reached out to us about adding another school resource officer. They'll be supplying about $60,000 a year to add another school resource officer to middle school. That would put our total at 7 school resource officers. It's 8?
This hey,
Okay, all right. I was thinking we were going from 7. So we're going from 7 to 8. So I have a couple at the high school, a couple at the middle school, and then one at each of the elementary schools. So obviously, you're kind of gearing up towards opening of the new Hernando High School. There's more schools in the district, or not in the district. There'll be more schools in Hernando. You know, in Hernando schools, so we'll need more school resource officers. One, gearing up for that. But two, I think it's just the reality that at a high school and middle school, there's a little more for a school resource officer to do than there is, the primary school.
Yeah, I think county. But added
There's definitely been as the city has grown, and I know we talk a lot about growth, and there's certainly impacts of that, whether it comes from traffic, whether it comes from new development, whatever else that people may not necessarily want or appreciate, which I completely empathize with. The board's made a conscious decision to invest more in public safety and to make sure that as the growth's coming along, we have the police and fire needed to do so. Speaking of fire, we're looking at we have a request for proposal for a emergency medical vehicle. So is
which
that
is
an
ambulance.
ambulance,
Yeah,
emergency medical vehicle? So looking at that, it was something that was budget, um, that was budgeted for, so not a unexpected expense, but getting an ambulance this year, that would be the fourth ambulance up at the
Well,
city.
I think we have goals have working.
Yeah.
So right now, the county goal. I think we talked about third ambulance working out of back hired some of that right now. That's the goal. Hopefully, I asked the question that I didn't have to ask.
During this budget. Yeah,
Right.
that's the goal. So let's go from what talked about public safety a little bit. Talk about I don't know how else to put this, infrastructure. We are looking at we had engineers that were approved for some of the ARPA projects we have been targeting. ARPA, American Recovery Plan Act. So federal money that was brought in and then matched by the state legislature. Here in Hernando, the Byhalia Road water plant and Madison Lakes elevated tank, the East Parkway water plant upgrades, the downtown sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, Dogwood Hollow sewer lagoon closure project. So those four projects were sent off to engineers to get those projects moving on down the road. The Byhalia Road water plant, I guess it's right there at in Madison Lakes. There's greater need for water as those developments are moving moving
On the
forward.
northeast side of
Mm.
definitely that plant one time.
It was at about 98% capacity. We doubled the capacity at the Jaybird water plant to make that to get that to a better place. But as the the backing veil and get well exits are going to continue to kind of develop out uh, with the increased traffic on 269, those areas are going to be developed sometime in the future. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10
Yeah,
years, but
and
there's
this
going
may
to
be
be
a
a
good
need for
time
more
to.
water.
I know probably why is nothing developed out there? Question. Water. So,
That's definitely a big piece of the puzzle. Sure.
if someone make that's
Yeah,
kind of what.
it's a chicken and egg scenario,
Yeah, well,
right?
the schools help us come in. Might crack.
I mean, when I say chicken and egg, it's one of those things where does a government entity and does the city commit the dollars to increasing the water availability to those areas so that development comes there, or that potential for development there, or do you have developers be on the hook for infrastructure improvement? Honestly, in the current environment, economically, investors are not looking to spend money on infrastructure. They're not really even looking to spend money on development necessarily. So I do think development is a little ways down the road for anybody that is concerned about that. I think there's just some economic headwinds. Depends on who wins the White House probably in 2024, whether investors want to put more money into the economy or not. I just don't think people have confidence right now with what's up there, but that's just
right.
my personal opinion. So we've got those ARPA projects moving forward. Dogwood Hollow is one of those areas where it was annexed into the city. Getting sewer expanded to them is something that is going to be part of this. The East Parkway water plant, again, just a water capacity issue, and the downtown sanitary sewer rehabilitation project is something where you've got some really, really old sewer lines.
We're going to smoke the lines due to infiltration of rainwater.
You're looking for cracks in those sewer lines just to address some of those and take care of that. The Pickering firm will be taking care of that. So certainly appreciate them partnering with the city. We also had the Green Tea Road subdivision sewer improvement, entering into an agreement with the Pickering firm as well to look at that sewer project, part of the annexation when they were brought into the city. So that is something else that's going on from an infrastructure standpoint.
I think it's important to note on that project, all we approved last night was develop plan, try to get involved in home have to approve first, probably.
Green tea folks, you're going to have to wait a little while longer, unfortunately. It was on the ARPA list, but it was taken off the ARPA list for whatever reason. That was kind of a split decision by the board, but it is unfortunately that's how it works. But we do have something from the planning standpoint, looking at adopting an ordinance to allow golf carts on city streets. Yeah, this is one that I think you brought to the mayor's attention.
I had a good friend and a neighbor of mine who approached me last week. Golf cart. I live right there. Soto, mother-in-law, Parkway. Every son drive their golf. Each time, stop. Basically, he brought to my attention. I mentioned the mayor, and the mayor said that he had also approached. Feels like that kind of tie what they most. We're going to kind of discuss it last night. I think everybody kind of that we have some type of some of the major things, not for kids. I've golfed. Not drunk on. Can't drive your golf cart too far.
Well, I think
Can't be
that'll
on
be
state or federal highway. I think we're going to put something there maybe about the speed of the road.
you have to got to be tagged, got to have insurance.
Yeah, that's right.
So some of these things. So that's going to be part of what this ordinance, but that's going to be part of this ordinance discussion. You know, going forward. So if people have opinions on that, or if they feel really strongly about it, reach out to your alderman and let them know what your concerns are. I think that when it comes to some of these vehicles that I guess are four wheelers or side by sides or whatever it might be, that seems to be people get concerned. Kids driving them, kids helmets on, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I know the police department had put something out 6, 7, 8 months ago. Four wheelers on the street, going to charge right. Kind of crack. I think that's what caught my neighbor. But that's great. job, but wanna kind of come. I don't driving.
No, and I'm sure a lot of people look at it. Well, I don't even live on a golf course. Why do people have golf carts? Easier way to get around.
That's right.
And fun thing for families to do, I guess, right around your neighborhood, sort of take a little stroll, um, take a little leisurely cruise through your neighborhood or whatever it might be. And I think that's going to be the main part of this, Chad. Is just, how do you handle this? Is just people going from neighbor to neighbor.
Yeah,
Are
I mean,
people wanting to take
what
this to run errands? Or, what's
yeah,
going
in
on?
my mind, this not on the main, not on any road that just drive one side of Reedy Drive to the other or whatever, or it's Reedy Drive or I can't remember got paid.
Reedy, I think there's both.
Oh, I got
The Entergy keeps sending the bill to Reedy Cove. I'm
I
like,
got
well, I live on Reedy Drive. Do I still have to pay this? How's that
There you
work?
go.
But yeah, unfortunately, I do. But I think that's going to be the big thing as we're discussing this. Where can these go? When are they permitted? Lights, blinkers, all this stuff that's permitted. Anybody that's gone down to a beach vacation recently, you've seen the golf cart all over the place. So if you look at that,
And again, too, Ben, I think it's important to note if we pass something 6 months from now, we look at it not working for back.
that's absolutely true. Well, Chad, that looks was like we said, fairly short meeting. We covered it.
Some important things, but not anything that most folks.
The biggest thing is that when talking about a lot of these things, department projects, these things, just how long it takes to get things done in government. Um, Public notices have to go out, advertisement, engineering, request for quote. It is a long process to get anything in government. And while even though we're at a local city level and you feel like things should move more quickly, when you're working with state and government and federal government agencies, it takes a long time to get anything done. It's really, really unfortunate sometimes. You can see where the problem is and you want to do something about it. It takes 2 years to get something actually about it, unfortunately. But yeah, so let's bring on our guest speaker here for this week, our guest interview, Harley Brown with HYFA. We're going to bring him on right now. He's our guest interview of the week.
And we were talking before, 20 years old.
Who's that?
20
Oh,
years
I thought
old.
you were talking about Harley. I was like, no, he's 20 years
quite
old.
Quite a bit older than
that. He got a little gray in the beard.
Oh, yeah.
So HYFA's 20 years old now in the community. So tell us a little bit more about it, I guess, what y'all's goal or mission is, and what y'all are involved with now.
Well, our main goal is to give the kids in Hernando something to do. That's the big thing. So this organization was founded by a lot of staples in Hernando. Had Mike McClendon and a few other folks, actually the ones that helped start this whole league, along with Mr. Danny over at Sports Ball Stores, part of that whole bringing it out of the ground thing. So they noticed that there was a need for a football league in Hernando, that everybody was tired of driving to South Haven and going up there and doing that in Cherry Valley for a long time, like Dad and I were talking about. That was the only thing around when we were kids. When I was a kid. I was a kid way before you guys were. But with that being said, our big our big goal here in town is to make sure the boys and girls in Hernando have somewhere to come here or play football and trying to get back to dancing too.
And so when people are, for those who don't, what ages do y'all start out at?
We start out at 5. We go all the way up. Yeah, we do 5 and 6.
Serious flag.
Serious flag football at 5-year-old.
Okay.
So we go 5 and 6 all the way up to 12-year-old. So that kind of bridges the gap from kindergarten all the way until they get 8th grade year of junior varsity or 8th middle school.
So 5-6-year-old. There's no playbooks at that point or anything like that, right?
Oh, it's highly complex.
Is it?
Highly
Okay.
complex.
Run right, run left.
The spread.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. All right. I've got my daughters are 10 and 5. My son Reeves is 7, and he really wants to play. We're still kind of feeling that out. We'll see. The family love watching football for sure. Everybody likes throwing a football on the beach or whatever, but actually playing football is a little more, physical, a little more to it. So when do they switch over from flag pads?
They go pads at 7 years old.
7 years old, okay.
Yeah.
And so when y'all are kind of getting people ingrained into all this and everything, so what can parents expect to have to fork out for a season of football,
It's
money
actually
wise?
inexpensive as far as the
That's good.
HYFA. So this past year, we're at $90. That includes all the fees you would have to pay for facilities rentals, also, it includes the jersey. As far as the cheer still would have to pay that interest plus their uniforms. On that's the expensive side. That's something that most cheer parents kind of expect to get after over. That's dollars.
I got you. I mean, that is kind of in line with a lot of the other city run leagues, basketball and soccer. And the other one, $75 to $100. What to expect.
This is my older son, like younger, loves it. I think one thing y'all did, Harley, I thought you let having a hard time with
Yeah,
something like that.
we offer that. We also offer scholarship for children that parents.
Hey, y'all aren't tied in with the high school booster club or any of that kind of stuff, right?
No,
It's just
no,
it's
we're
a
not.
separate organization, right?
It's completely separate. It's not a city-run organization. It's a completely private, 501 organization. So strictly nonprofit. Anything we bring in to advance the program or provide other opportunities for children involved.
And you'll have I think one of the best nights, one of the best Friday nights. Everybody likes Friday Night Lights in Orlando because it's always packed out there, but especially packed HYFA night.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that.
So that's kind of been going on for a long time, since even before I was something that I had no idea started. It's just been around. So we work with in coordination with the high school booster club. They set us up at night, talk with coach, whoever coach might be at the time, hopefully. Well, so he and I, we have a really great relationship, and as we should with all the football programs. But as far as Friday Night Lights ordeal, so we gather up all the football players, get out in front of, in the tunnel ahead of high school. So when they announce the football team, they announce the HYFA boys come out the tunnel, and it's lined on either side with cheerleaders as well. So we had over right at 100 cheerleaders. So we took up a pretty good amount of the field. So they helped out. We right at 400 total.
Wow, so 200 cheer, 200 football players.
Yep.
Awesome. So it's great to see the community come together for things like that. On a HYFA night, something like that. Like you said, it's a feeder program. So is it something where I don't know if it's this complex or not? So just ask, is it something so complex where like the schemes that you see at the high school level that's kind of broken down for the earlier grade level to say like, okay, this is how we're going to do this one day, right at the high school level? I don't know.
Absolutely, it is.
Okay,
and it's that because everybody that we talk to, like, I can't believe you're running such complex plays. Fellows are smart. You got to give them more credit than what you think they can do out there. So the big thing is to break it down. So I tell the guys, I actually pull some of these plays right out of Nick Saban's play. I run some of the stuff that Lane Kiffin runs. I run anybody that's out there. You see a nice program, you dive grammar program. It's all in what you're coaching. I've been coaching. This will be my 8th, 7th season. I coach all the flag, the H out of the program. He's actually at 9th right now. So it's what we learn from them. We go to the high school. Hey, what do you want us? What kind of drills do you want how to do? So they're already managed. This definitely learn some terminology in high school, even though it does change every year. It's nice for them to understand. Hey, Ringo right, early right, sun goes west, right. So these are the kinds of things that we teach verbiage. And even with my 9 and 10 that I coached last year,
there you go.
195 points scored, 12 points. Excellent team. So I'm out there telling them the same thing that a high school coach telling the quarterback how to run the same. I mean, it's as complex as you want it.
Now, I didn't grow up in Hernando. I wasn't fortunate enough to grow up, in Hernando necessarily, but we had football in Atlanta area, in the suburbs where I was at. They always did it by how much weight, right? They had a weight class, football. But y'all do it by age strictly,
We
correct?
do it by strictly age groups. There's some other organizations that are around the area. I know Mary talking about, but our weight does get involved. That's for ball.
Okay.
So at each age group, we make sure that they're not sticking an overdeveloped
Right.
10-year-old out there that looks like me, 200-pound kid running the rock every time. It's unsafe. And that's
Right.
really what making sure kids have fun doing it. They pick up a sport that they're going to take forever, and they learn something valuable, learn how to.
I was on the other side of that, Chad. I was like 6th grade.
You were the one running the ball.
I was 6th grade, like 79 pounds. And everybody's like, look at this little
79
string bean out here. Like, what in the world's going on
Yeah.
with it? So, I know I had to eat more mashed potatoes. I've learned how to eat
Didn't
since
your
then,
parents have a
clearly.
restaurant?
We did. Everybody kept wondering, like, his grandparents have
Are they
all-you-can-eat
starving that guy?
restaurant. Like, how in the world? What in his metabolism is off the chain? But it all catches up with us. Out.
Harley, you want to talk about kind of the growth? I know probably across the country. Probably
Well, it's kind of strange that before COVID hit, we were on a decline. Every year we'd lose about 10, 20 kids, either in cheer or like not usually in football. Cheer would grow every. We were increased by 10, 15 girls a year, and same thing with boys. We would lose that same amount. So at one point, we were more cheer than we were football. COVID hit. We actually had a season. So we had a really small season. It was only a couple teams in each age, one and another. Still played in our organization. Like you were part of that, but we play against Horn Lake, South Haven, and Toby. Get everybody involved in the county teams that we're going to be playing. But as far as the COVID year dropped, and every year since then we've been floating. This year was our record, 400 this year. Last year was right around, and that was a record for us as well. So every year we've been blowing it. We kind of attribute that coaching on our HYFA, making sure that everybody has a good experience, or at least the best one that they can possibly
And for folks who aren't fully initiated into it, so the HYFA doesn't have its own league where everything's played. Y'all coordinate with these other cities,
we
like you
used to
mentioned.
do that. We used to do that quite when I first got on HYFA. We did that. We would have 3 teams in each age group, play each team twice. Well, we all the coaches kind of just kind of gets boring. Kids don't get better,
Right.
so it's like sharpening your knife against a piece of plastic. You don't get any better like that, right? So we did play some we'd play our Hernando circuit or our schedule right there. Go to the All-Star game, Olive Branch, get decimated, and we got to figure out what's going to make better throughout the season, not just one wall right off the bat. But we started coordinating with Horn Lake and South Haven. So these cities are 3 times, 4 times the size of Orlando, but they still only like one age group. So that's their numbers way down, and we kind of attribute that to football and basketball, and just lack of program.
And you mentioned Coach McCann earlier. We talked athletic director at Hernando. We talked Russellton, all these folks that are involved with it. But new Hernando High School is being constructed up there on McIndale. You can kind of start to see it taking shape. I think the concession stands for the football stadium are actually, the foundation's been poured, like all that stuff's out there. How exciting is that for y'all y'all are at the earlier stages of football, but you're building toward that one day where we're going to do Hernando.
Very exciting. Like you talked about, my oldest boy, first class graduate. So he's freshman year, depending on when they finish, first or the second. But the boys super pumped about They get a chance to play on turf. They love it. That's all you hear is turf field, turf. But hey, we go out to all our like turf. Everybody likes to run and slide on the grass. Right? It's super exciting for them. It's nice to see that they're getting larger facilities.
Going back, like when I played eighth football, South.
Right.
Raw. Ironman football for us. Now that roll flag.
Yeah.
They turn.
Definitely third.
So you've coached for 8 years, but take us a little further back. How were you introduced to football originally?
Like Chad said, played middle school football. I grew up in a single parent household. Money was at a prime most of the time. So if I played any sports, that's played middle school ball, and I was actually playing Olive Branch. So I would get beat up on Hernando. So we'd come down here, beat up on Hernando, then we'd go to Horn Lake and get picked up. And we did move to Hernando as I was. I kind of figured out, like talking about how small you were. I was 6 foot and 155, like, probably. So that I jumped out of that and never looked back. But I still love the game. Watching it, getting out and playing in the yard. Everybody likes the idea of football. Never really had to play a whole lot of football to understand the game.
Yeah, I want to say when I tried out high school for football, coach score really high on your ACT, and I was like, "Yes, sir." And he was like, "Thank goodness,
manager."
thank goodness you did, because I was getting worried about you." So yeah, everybody's got their. I mean, the football is one of those sports where you can be as smart as you want to be, but ultimately you got to be able to put it around. You got to have some physicality to it, and that seems to be like some of the teams. And sometimes size is an issue.
Right.
You got these big South Panola teams in, or whoever else in. Just a matter of the scheme, whatever scheme. But you got to have some players. You got to develop players for years, and that's basically what y'all are doing, what y'all are cultivating now.
Right. We're just trying to get the understanding.
So what would your message be for parents that are considering, hey, I think I'm gonna get my son in football? What would you think they should consider, or what would your encouragement?
Absolutely, get out early. If you got a 5-year-old, sign him up. It may be early. You may think he'll be out there picking daisies, and they will pick up something. We had 5 and 6-year-old, like Dad said, learning the spread option. They weren't really running the option, but they were like, "Hey, hand it off to this guy this time. Next time, this guy." But it looked like spread option. So they can be more advanced properly. They learn the game. They understand. They're learning the hey, safety drops. Good for the so they do learn that stuff. If you get them signed up early, sign them up. But on the flip side, it's never too late.
And when it comes to, I think everybody's busy, right? That's everybody's favorite word. How much of a time commitment do kids when they get involved?
Well, when they get involved before the regular season, they're practicing. So that's up to the coach on what days, what times, and all that stuff. Generally, it's Friday, 5, 8 o'clock. They're going to get little guys. They'll start the practice at 5:30. Dad knows, like I know, 45 minutes is all you're getting for black kids.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. You might get focused 15 out of the 45, and the rest of the time for water bottle. But as they get older, they get more in tune. So you're looking, instead of 45 minutes, 11 and 12-year-old or 12-year-old, look, maybe an hour. That's generally the max. And really, the high school doesn't want you to practice much. More chance for injury and all that stuff. We're not talking about concussion.
Right.
We're talking about somebody tripping arm and breaking their arm, twisting an ankle.
And y'all use Kirkendall Field.
We do
for practice. And I know the city's committed to getting Kirkendall Field to a better place. We're making some movement. It may not seem that way at times, but
knock down the ant.
That's it, right?
that's the goal. We got the parking lot paved, which was after football season, but we didn't.
We got right practice.
Yeah, we got the old bleachers taken down that were kind of a hazard there, and then we're looking at redesigning the bathroom out there and getting that in a better place.
Long range goal.
We've got a quote on some lighting and that kind of thing to just get it to a better place where people can be a little more comfortable getting out there regularly. So sports is expensive.
Oh,
It's an expensive venture no matter what you do.
There's no return on it. The only return is the smiles, right?
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. But it's good to have an organization like this that has a relationship with the city, and even though it's not a city-run organization, everybody can still come together and work together. That's the most important thing. Sure.
I know we're at the end of the football season. When does registration start for next year? Starts.
We normally open up the registration around spring break. So last year we opened it up actually, but it gives the parents the opportunity, like you said, split the payment up if they want to. They'll split it up. So when you sign up, your first payment will be due, and your second won't until after the first. So it automatically makes it. So that's how we do that. We'll do our evaluation the first week of August. Give the teams a chance to assemble and do practice, figure out game plans and whatnot. We start up that first holiday. So we'll do that then. And last year it was Jamboree, first time we've done that in a while. We had some feedback either way that the good teams were upset that they only had a quarter to do stuff in. The bad teams were like, getting off the field right now. We got a lot of work to do. And I can say that I saw it both. So on the field days when we're out playing, I'm at the field time to start. Make sure everything's off that.
Long days. But we definitely appreciate your community involvement as far as that stuff goes. I know it's a thankless job a lot of times. Like Chad mentioned, tomorrow, as we're recording this, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and of course, in Mississippi, probably one of the biggest days of the year. It's not for the turkey; it's for the eggs. The Egg Bowl.
Probably not a steak hour.
I am not.
You Ole Miss guy?
No, I'm breaking the mold here. I'm a Florida guy.
Okay. Florida guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier rocking the visor.
I was rooting for him against
Missouri. Yeah.
They got a big one. They got a big one this weekend with Florida State. Florida State 11-0, missing their Heisman candidate quarterback. That was a bad deal. That was a bad deal. But so Egg Bowl, you're not cheering for anybody one way or another?
My household cheers for Ole Miss.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like you said, the wife kind of rules that, right?
That's right.
It should be. I think it's always a good game, though. I mean, I don't feel like it's ever something where either team just knocks the other one out of the park or anything like that. So it should be
like
a good
brothers
game.
fighting in the backyard. You never know which one's going to come out on top.
Well, I think one of my friends over in Georgia, he was like, like the rest of the SEC watches y'all have like family reunion fight.
Yeah, 100%.
Like everybody's watching. Like these two teams just absolutely despise each other.
Better. Well,
that's true. I agree on that. I agree. That should be interesting. Something like that. For sure. Well, we appreciate you joining us here.
Yeah, Harley, anything else you want to add?
Great information. I'm good. Well, I will add that our league that we participate in with Hernando South Haven, that's actually the North Mississippi Youth Football Association. So we kind of formed that up to make sure that we're all governed by the same rules. So that was one of the big things when we first started doing South Haven. They play by a different rule than we play in Hernando.
Different flag.
So different flag, different everything, right? So we're kind of trying to get everybody under one umbrella. And with that being said, we actually had this season and last season started a Super Bowl, kind of quote Super Bowl. So we played that in Strayhorn last year. This year we played it in Senatobia. They're great by the time that rolled. So they had it down there. The boys get first, second place. Get a ring, trophy. Coach get a little trophy, depending on which one organization bought your trophy. it's actually a pretty really cool deal. We let Jared do a little halftime show, and
We got to get not only we have to get youth football Super Bowl back up here to Hernando. We got to get a state title. Horn Lakes. I'm trying to think of the recent. Horn Lakes had a state title. I guess Olive Branch had one at one point. In the last 10 years or so.
They were really,
who was that?
Olive Branch have a state title
several years ago. They were really good back when Fred Smith's son.
That's right.
Now I will say, talk about state titles, and ever there was going to be a chance. And this boys that came out of these boys that came out of middle school the past couple.
He's talking about his son, the ones that coach.
No, I am. I actually am. These boys right there, they love the game. They're all about football. We actually had some freshmen come over that not taking anything away from the class got over there right now because they're some good football players, great guys. Mm-hmm. These boys outweigh them by 50, 60 pounds, and they're about $60 as freshmen. So I kept telling Coach McCann whenever the boys were in 7th grade, hey, man, you come across the street, guys. At the end of the season, hey, did you go over and look at nodding halfway through the middle school, 8th grade? Hey, go look at the guys. No, I hadn't been over there. At the end of the season, hey, did you ever make it over there? Yeah, a lot of them are going to be playing before I'm ready for them. Those kind of things. So they've got some really good guys coming up. We just got to make sure we're out there supporting these boys. A lot of times that we get kicked in the mouth early, the crowd will get down, the little bit of crowd that we see out there. But if we bring that energy that we do on HYFA night, there ain't nobody.
We've got a great community here in Hernando. There's churches, there's other organizations to help feed the teams pregame, and that makes all the difference. Everybody pitches in. I think everybody wants to have everybody loves the winner, right? Everybody likes supporting the program.
Absolutely.
Does HYFA have any sponsors?
We actually do. Like I said, we are a donation-based. We do have a company I work for does a lot for us, Niagara Bottling. They do a lot for us. We do some things with the Optic Club. At one time, I think City of Hernando. We pick up donations here, but a lot of times it's small stuff. It pays somebody else's tuition.
If people want to donate, is what way can they do that?
Oh, they can reach out right through the website. Our contact information is right there. It's Hernando Youth Football Association.com, HYFA.com.
So there you have it. If you want to make a donation, certainly they could use it. We encourage y'all to take a look at it, consider it, especially this time of year and season of giving. Want to give back to football. If you were a football player at one point, hey, I remember those 2-a-days in high school or whatever it might have been. I remember playing as a younger kid or whatever it might be. Pass that along to the next generation. It'd be a great way to give back in the season. Harley, anything else before we cut you loose here?
Well, when we come out to evaluations, please note we love the old guys that used to play ball that want to get involved with their children. It's just to me, it's kind of a magical thing. You get out there with the boy, coach around. As long as you're not one of those guys that plays daddy. I don't have to think about it. Good to go.
My son raised.
Right. It's a big bonding experience for you and your child.
Yeah. And I always enjoy
plant that seed and watch it grow right there. It's awesome.
He's lucky enough to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I saw that. I'm on.
He's kind of like you. He's a small guy, but he's fast.
I'm gonna put my old broadcast roots together. I'll get him a highlight reel on YouTube in no time. We'll get him viral. Everybody will come watch it. Well, Harley, we appreciate you coming in. We appreciate everything you do for this community, for Hernando football, and for joining us for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was Harley Brown with HYFA, Hernando Youth Football Association. Chad, that was a great show. I'm ready for some football. Yeah. I'm ready to tee it up again. Thanksgiving game. Well, that's the Egg Bowl. Everybody's always anxious about it. But y'all enjoy your turkey, enjoy your dressing. If you listen to this after Thanksgiving, hopefully you've recovered from the tryptophan coma there and had a good nap on the couch. Appreciate you joining us here on the Boardroom podcast.
Everybody's waiting on a train.